So overall, I would say that for the Sorcerer, you have very, very good clear speed. You have decent survivability with Ward. You can lack a little bit on boss damage, but this is coming in at, like I said, I am level 81, just starting into the end game. Have not made it to the highest level monoliths with corruption on them, so this may change a little bit at that point. This is just my take on it right now. Going through the campaign was very smooth, very easy. It's a definite class if you're looking to get into the game and have your first time through. It'd be a very easy time through the campaign. Overall, I'm really liking the Sorcerer. Looking forward to capping it out and taking it into the end game and seeing more progression on the character. So hopefully I can scale up damage and be better at dropping bosses and not just going through the actual speed runs of the monoliths themselves. Alright, let's look into the gear that I'm wearing on this, and I am level 81. Had just gotten into the end game myself, so still working through the monoliths. But what I'm trying to focus on here is increased lightning damage, elemental damage, spell damage, shock chance, cast speed, then criticals, so crit strike chance, crit strike multiplier, and then along with that, anything that adds to ward gain, because we are more ward based than health based for our build. The only unique I'm using is this fragment of the Enigma. That's the only one I found that is useful for me. And then for my resists, I'm trying to have everything as high as I can. I am fairly tanky with all the ward. I'll show you my skills and how I'm maintaining that ward throughout the actual gameplay. So I've got ward retention and health, lightning damage while I have lightning aegis, armor and health, ward, and then static orb bonus, lightning damage and resist, physical resist and dodge, health, more lightning damage. These are not optimized, it's just what I've found so far. Alright, so if we look at our defenses, we're doing pretty good on most of our resists except for poison and necrotic. Just haven't gotten the gear to line up that way to get that. But otherwise, we're fairly tanky. I've done some of the level 90 monoliths, and I do alright. Even though I'm not good at dodging mechanics. Okay, for our passives, we are mage with the sorcerer mastery. So for me, what I have is 2 in scholar, 8 in arcanist, 5 in flurry here, and then 5 in knowledge of destruction. It's just how I have it set up. I'm not completely optimized. Still have 19 more levels of points to place. For the sorcerer mastery, got momentum, get some cast speed, some more spell damage per stack of momentum, and then just flat intel with the 5-point bonus for critical strike chance. Increased lightning damage down here with shock chance. And then lightning pen with some leech off of the lightning damage. Critical strike chance and critical strike multiplier. We got a little bit of ward on lightning hit. Can only happen every 10 seconds, but it generates a little bit. It's nice. Flat spell damage with mana regen, and then more flat spell damage, tripled if you have at least 200 maximum mana. Then for Rune Master, which is where we get our Flame Rush skill, we have some health, less damage taken from basically an enemy suffering from an elemental ailment. Mana and cast speed, which I'm going to put more points into this. I want more cast speed. Intelligence, ward gain on direct spell cast. This is big for us because we have such fast cast rate. We do get a lot of ward generated. More health, ward per second, We do not have the 60 intelligence though, so we don't make that. And then we will be capping this out as well, so we can get more critical strike multiplier. And then we're going to take a look at my actual skills. So in here we have Lightning Blast. I've got some additional chains. I can chain to myself and then back out for extra damage. And then I went to the right, extra damage, can double strike, can quadruple cast, base crit chance and damage, and then chance to give you the lightning aegis, which we have our idols give us the extra lightning damage if we have that. So this is one way of getting it. The other way is with the actual static orb. Spark charges, and then benefits to the spark charges. This works really well with that unique item I have in my offhand. I have some more points, and I can do damage and base critical strike chance, which I'm going to be doing. We're going to cap that out. Then Flame Ward. Now, we're not actually casting Flame Ward. We get this by walking through our frost wall, which I'll show you in a second here. But for this, increased duration, infusion, which I'm going to place a point in right now, increases fire damage, but because we've converted this to a lightning one, it's actually changing it over to lightning. So increased lightning damage by 250%. Increases just flat damage there. Some ward granted. Take less hit damage while we have this. Take less elemental damage while we have this. So it still gives us our defensive capabilities that we want, but it also raises our DPS. For the frost wall, we have ward gain, mana gain, frenzy and haste duration, and then here is your prepared wards. So this is where, when you pass through your frost wall, you get flame ward cast on you as long as you have mana available. This just adds a little bit of DPS and potential to chill enemies. Then we go up this way. We have the lightning rod, so we're changing it over to lightning. Charged pylons, more lightning blasts, and more lightning blasts than before. And down here, this is what I'm putting my points in now, is how long it lasts in the area, which just makes it easier to actually make it through it when I cast it. For static, I'm looking for just big time single base hit, right? I just want to be able to hit and try and kill an enemy in one go, right? So it's boss damage. So we've got increased maximum charges, some haste after we use it, range per charge, critical multiplier when we're over 100 charges. So with this we can get up to 200. When we discharge it, we will for 3 seconds charge back up with criticals, which, since we're a crit based build, actually will charge quite a bit of it back up. A little bit of extra crit chance, flat lightning damage, charges gained when hit, ward gained per charge, so we get just a little bit of ward afterwards. That's just my personal thing that I like on there, because generally if I use that, I'm in a boss fight. And now for static orb. So this last spot, you can really choose yourself whether you want static orb or whether you want to go with something else to help you with like a boss, so like arcane ascendance or ice barrage. There's a couple things that can help you for just dealing boss damage. I like using static orb as my main skill, and it is very effective at clearing, so I just like having it on. I currently have it with shock chance and more spell damage to shocked enemies, and I have less mana, doesn't pull enemies, so I can just chain cast this. And then off the other side, help it with its AoE, Explosive Tendrils, and have, where is it? Critical Multiplier, because we are a crit build, and Lightning Aegis, guaranteed for 2 seconds on cast. So, this is good for hitting things that are near the edge of the screen. You've got projectile speed is slower, but the damage ramps up over distance that it travels. So when you can see like a pack of mobs that are off in the distance, you can send this towards them. And basically, it's going to clear off all the trash and leave any rare mobs low on health by the time you actually make it to that pack. Right, we're going to do some gameplay. Show you how the Sorcerer in Blast Epoch actually flows those moves using charged or lightning blast and static, and then static orb. Those three are my main damage dealing spells. And then using Frost Wall with the lightning skill in it to give me more ward and more spell damage as I cross. And then Flame Surge as my movement speed. Mainly because you can Flame Surge through the actual wall to give you those buffs while you go through. So for the playstyle, you go through, you want to cast your Frost Wall, move through it, which is going to give you ward and spell damage. Then cast your Lightning Blast or your Static Orb. Then move on to your next pack of enemies, rinse and repeat. When you get to any higher rares that are harder to kill or bosses, you're going to use your Static Orb. After you have stacks of shock on the enemy and go through the wall, you will hit your Static Orb, and that can deal a lot of burst damage.